Hello, everyone. Judith Diaz here from Say It Out Loud GG Podcast, and welcome to another episode. It's been a while, it's been a long time, but there is a perfect good reason for it. So stay tuned to listen to the more exciting stuff that we're bringing in. But before we go into that, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for sponsoring this program, which is La Cienciani Styles and Anointed News Journal from Chris Collins. Thank you for sponsoring this program. So, I missed you guys. So in April of this year, I had a gastric bypass surgery. Since then, it's been a full month of recovery. And then after that is getting to know who I am in this new body and my new eating habits and everything else. So, but there's something interesting and exciting that I want to share with you guys, that in that April when I had that surgery, I was introduced to, thank you to Carter, to this little stuffed animal called Moo Moo. Well, my husband named her Moo Moo. So there's a beautiful story behind this cow right here, this stuffed animal cow. So in April when I had the surgery, my sister went downstairs to the Get Well store, or the store in the hospital that usually has the Get Well gifts and stuff like that. And this was the only cow left. And she said, this is going to be my sister's gift. Since then, Moo Moo has been the highlight of my marriage, my relationship. Let's get into it. So when my husband saw Moo Moo for the first time, this cow, he said, oh my God, that is the most adorable cow I've ever seen. Like, this is so cute. And I said, yeah, my sister gave it to me. And it was also a support for my stomach. So anytime I needed to cough, I'll put them in my stomach and cough, because anybody that knows that once you get surgery and you need to cough or sneeze, it kind of hurts. It hurts inside. So if you put pressure on it, so it was like a perfect size to do that. So Moo Moo was with me for a good month while I was doing my recovery. But the most interesting part is that my husband caught like just this whole sentimental part. I guess his inner child came out and found that Moo Moo was the most adorable thing. And he started initiating, well, he started Moo Moo, you know, like the cows, Moo Moo. So this is the name of it that I didn't name him. My husband named him. And since then, I think we had, full transparency, we had our first argument probably a month after I had surgery. It wasn't really an argument. It was more of a disagreement. And I remember that I was like, I'm recovering, like I'm in pain. I don't want to know anything. And he grabbed this cow and kind of made a face like if the cow was looking at me and got upset, and made this whole full character through this stuffed animal. Like, so just so you guys could see, it's like me saying something, and then he made the cow kind of look at me and kind of just started doing like signs, just saying like, cut it out now, or something like, you need to stop now. And it's the most interesting thing, because after that, we based our whole relationship through this cow. Let me explain more in detail. So now, when we have a disagreement or we have any arguments, we do not argue directly to each other. We actually use our cow, Moo Moo, as our mediator. So, for example, if my husband said something that offended me or I didn't like, I wouldn't tell him like, you know, you were jerk right now. You know, what you said hurt my feelings. I will actually talk to Moo Moo and just kind of say, yeah, your dad, you know, is a jerk right now because he said this, and that hurt my feelings. And I would take Moo Moo and use Moo Moo as a third party, but using my voice, and kind of just saying like, you messed up because you said things that you wasn't supposed to say to mommy, and now she's upset. And we'll use Moo Moo as just gestures, like close, like zip it, think before you talk, or, you know, sorry. and or kisses. So it's like we let our inner child be the best part of us, right? And I just wanted to share this with you guys because I just feel that it's the little things, right? I've never, right, in my 40s, because I mean, I'm in my 40s. I never thought that at this age I would use a stuffed animal to actually use them as a tool to be able to communicate and to communicate better in my marriage, right? And these are the things that I wanted to share because I thought it was so important to just share this, that do not be ashamed of using anything that will help your marriage or help you communicate, and not only in your marriage, in any relationship, by all means at this point, because Moo Moo has been a huge sunlight of our day, that we actually take Moo Moo to travel with us everywhere we go. So if me and my husband are together, that means that Moo Moo's there, because Moo Moo is the one that is our mediator. So we use her in order to put our differences to the side or communicate. My husband is not a big communicator, or he wasn't a big communicator. In our Latino culture, when we're upset, we take it to a whole different level. And I'm speaking for me as well. When I'm upset, we take it to a whole different level, that it could be toxic, it's not healthy. And I'm all about breaking generational cycles. I'm all about bettering myself, evolving, and using things that is just elevate us, right? And if it took this stuffed animal, and thank you, Carter, big shout out to my sister, that she's the one who brought this to our lives, and I want to say thank you. And use it, but you have to both like the stuffed animal. So my biggest advice is use anything you need to use, and don't be afraid of what people are going to think, what people are going to say, because we take Moo Moo everywhere. So we wanted to create an account for Moo Moo where Moo Moo could just go and be authentic and be ourselves, because there has been many people in our lives that has met Moo Moo, because they're like, you're walking with a stuffed animal. And then when we tell them the story, well, this is important to us because Moo Moo is our mediator. And we kind of just start explaining to people how, we don't argue anymore at each other. We actually give Moo Moo the job to argue for us. And to a lot of people, that might not make sense. And to a lot of people might say, like, that's so childish. But I feel that life is too short to take everything. So to everyone out there, find your own Moo Moo. Moo Moo has built this amazing relationship with many people that I have encountered. Friends from Chicago, family members from Chicago, because they became family, not friends. And they suggested that I create an account for Moo Moo. So if you are on TikTok, please go and find Moo Moo, name Moo Moo Moo's. That's going to be Moo Moo's account, so we could take, so you could follow our journey along. That is Judith Diaz Moo Moo on TikTok. And we have many pictures that we have taken with Moo Moo. We take her. My husband said is a her, not a he. Well, of course it's a cow, right? So it has to be a female. So we take her along. So our latest trip that we did was to Vegas, and we had fun with it, right? And we take pictures where Moo Moo is in different occasions of the day, and we want you to just come along this journey with us as we're having fun with it. And hopefully it gets to encourage you in your relationship, in your marriage, in any relationship, mother, daughter, brother, sister, brother, sister. It doesn't matter. Where it encourages you to just build a relationship and have a mediator in that relationship, that you guys could communicate and have this better communication without the full impact of talking directly to each other. And if that's what it took for us, that's what it takes. So Moo Moo is very special to us, and we want to share Moo Moo with the world. so you guys could see that anything is possible, and we get to honor our inner child and be kids um, along the way and be an adult. And one of the biggest impacts that I have seen is also what it's doing with our kids, with our twins. They are enjoying it and they're doing it themselves. You know, they have stuffed animals that are dear to them and they use it to communicate, they use it to kind of set the boundaries they need to set. And it's amazing to just be these examples to them to say, hey, you know, it's important to communicate, and whatever it takes, you know, you do it. And if it took a stuffed animal, that's what it took. So I want everyone to just enjoy this journey with me. And if you're not following me, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe. But also, we have Moo Moo's platform on TikTok. So go follow Moo Moo so you could see the journey and the message we have behind it. So thank you once again to our sponsor, La Cienciani Style, for sponsoring this program, and Anointed News Journal by Chris Collins for sponsoring this program. Just thank you so much. And this is Moo Moo. So say hi.